guys, it's me, Holly Madison. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing the last episode of season 2, which is weird because when I started doing these reactions, I didn't think I would make it through the first 3 episodes. I'm like, this is too traumatic. I don't like it. But of course, if you've been following along, the episodes get better for me as they go because we started to get a little more independent and a little more confident. So if you'd hit the like and subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. And let's get on with the episode. This is our 4th Vegas episode by now. This is us going to the opening of the Playboy Club at the Palms. I'm so ready to get my roots done. I have an appointment on Monday. Can't wait. My hair is curly Sue in this first scene. It is just barrel curled up. Right away in this episode, like I want to be catty about like how many favors were done for somebody, but I won't. You guys, I don't want to be mean this episode. I don't. But I don't know. There was somebody who had a big like fear of flying and would always freak out. Maybe it was related to private planes. I don't know. But when I flew commercial with this person and she didn't have any like males around to perform for, she was fine. Not putting on a big show. Thought that was weird. They cut to me making a face. I'm not really making a face. I'm just kind of being normal, but I'm like, but that could have been a time. Again, my face is just normal. Like it's not a catty face. It's just that I have this resting bitch face, which they always like to use. But I will admit this could have been a time I could have been sitting there going, oh, here we go again. You know, because it's just one of those things. I'm surprised at how subdued our outfits are because especially Bridget and I really love to dress themed. And I'm just wearing like a leopard print day dress. Kendra's in jeans and like a olive green top. Bridget's in like a black dress. And I feel like that's very subdued for like us going to Vegas. I feel like usually we'd be a lot more like themey than that. Or like at least bright colors or something. I'm laughing because there's this interview with Bridget and she's sitting behind the game house and there's a table next to her. And on the table is a framed picture of her and Hef. But it's not like a casual picture. It's a picture we did for some like business magazine cover, but it's just like the her and Hef part of it cut out and put in the frame. And I know she didn't do that. Like it had to be like some prop that the crew came up with. It's just funny to me because it's not the type of photo you put in like a little picture frame. It's funny. I don't know if you can see it, but I wish I still had that sweater. I mean, maybe I don't because it's not like I'd be wearing a Playboy sweater around these days, but it was a very cute sweater. I had little bunnies in the pattern. Maybe if I had a sweater like that, but it was all hearts instead of bunnies, I would totally wear it. By the way, I'm gonna back up on like my first catty comment where I was like, whoa, they did a lot of favors for somebody. It's not that I think the favors shouldn't have been done. Like I feel like if a young woman is gonna hand over her entire life and be like, you can't work while you're here, you can't do anything, be in by 9 o'clock, they should get the favors. But I think one person got more favors than the 3 of us, maybe, if I'm gonna be petty about it. But I think she should get the favors. I think she deserves the favors, but she got a lot of favors, her and her family. So it finally shows us going into the Hugh Hefner Sky Villa, which was the biggest Sky Villa at the Palms, and it was for a time the most expensive high roller suite in Vegas. And I know over the past several Vegas episodes I've said, oh, here we go in the Hugh Hefner suite, but it's not. It's just like another Sky Villa. And I always think, oh, we're going in there now, but now it's finally opening, so you get to see the suite. And like I've said before, it's now the Damien Hirst suite, so there's all kinds of cool art and really beautiful marble in the suite. It looks really nice. I know the Palms has just been sold, so I don't know if they're gonna keep it like that, but yeah, that's what it is now. And speaking of warm and cozy, this suite was not warm and cozy. It was very large. Everything in it was very like cold and sterile. So even though it was a really cool suite, it wasn't like our favorite place to stay. Like it didn't have a cozy, like I want to drop and take a nap right here feel. Oh my God, there's an Eames chair in the suite. An Eames chair is a really legendary piece of furniture from the middle of the 20th century. And Hef had one at the mansion in his study. And I didn't like it or where it was because it was this very like mid-century modern chair in this like classic Tudor home. So it always like bugged me. So I think I'm the one person in the world who doesn't like Eames chairs because everybody else thinks they're like the thing. Oh my God. And then he points out this other chair and he goes, I'm getting very sentimental about that chair because he said that in the baby shower episode. He's like, I'm getting very sentimental. And I thought he was going to say something nice. And he's like, because there's a picture of me sitting in that chair. Oh boy. Oh my God, now he's telling George Maloof, the Palms owner, the whole chair story. Not to be annoying and bring up body image stuff again, but I'm watching this and I'm wearing a backless dress and I'm like, what do I have to do to be that skinny again? I say that as I'm about to go to dinner for pickle pizza with my friends. Have you guys ever watched The Sopranos and seen that episode where somebody says something to Tony Soprano about, oh, you know, when you're powerful, people just sit around and laugh at your jokes when you're not even funny. And then he gets kind of paranoid about it. And anytime one of his friends laughs at his jokes, he's like, Hef would make all these jokes all the time. And I'm not bagging on him for like being funny or not funny. Sometimes he was, sometimes he wasn't, but we all are. I'm not a funny person, okay? So I'm not bagging. But it was the kind of thing where there were constant like jokes and you constantly had to like be ready to laugh. And I'm just like seeing that in this episode. It's not something I really remember when I think back to it, like, oh, had to be fake and laugh at his jokes or anything like that. Like a lot of times I did think things he said were funny, but just in this episode, I don't know just how it's cut, or I guess he was just in the mood to like throw out all these one-liners while we were doing the tour of the suite. It just very much has that vibe where we're all trying to like, it's just funny. The Playboy Club in Vegas was a really pretty club. You can see all the little details they put into the decor when we're touring. I'm not really into like the animal hide part of it. You'll see there's like zebra chairs and stuff, but the rest of it was really well done. Oh my God, I forgot about the bathroom stall doors had like really pretty images of the Playmates on them. And you see like the front and then the back side on the back. It was just really pretty and really well done. And the walls in the bathrooms were covered with like a wallpaper made out of Playboy centerfolds. And I recreated that when I directed Jessica Burciaga's centerfold later on, because I thought that room was so cool. And then the next day, or later on in the day when we get there, we're at the pool. And I said, I really wanted to have a pool party to invite all the Playmates and enjoy all their company, which I'm sure was true, but I don't remember that being like my pool party. Like, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I think I'm just finally getting into a place in my evolution here where I'm having so much fun hanging out with the other girls, and Hef didn't really like that so much. You know, he always wanted me to be like right next to him 24/7 and didn't really like to see me have fun. And I'm starting to get to a place in my evolution where I'm getting a little more confident and I'm just wanting that girl time. Like I'm just wanting to hang out with all my girlfriends. I love Marilyn Cole. She was a Playmate in the early 70s. I'm just laughing because they finally did someone's lower third right. They have her name and it says journalist / Playmate of the year 1973. But she dated Hef back in the day too. So I'm shocked that they didn't do what they did to Crystal and Stacy and write Hef's former girlfriend. Like finally they get it right. But I loved Marilyn. She visited us several times and she was always really cool. So Bridget is doing some interviews for the TV show Extra in this episode, and she's talking to the host, Carlos Diaz. And he took us on a shopping spree, I think it was for Extra, it must have been, in Vegas at one point where we just like flew in and out for the day. And he had a couple stores we could go shopping in. One of the things I got was this really pretty green like fairy dress that I wore to Cannes in the Europe episode that you see earlier this season. And I also wore it in one of these reaction videos. It was my little Easter egg, I think in the first Europe episode that I review. And I just remember that day, it was like such a fun, random thing we got to do for no reason. Like, oh, come out here and do a segment on Extra and you guys get this really cool shopping spree. One person in the group, I'm not gonna say who, was so grumpy and like just so rude to like the host the whole time, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. I'm like, what's your problem? We're getting like flown out to Vegas. We get this huge shopping spree for no reason, just for like appearing on camera, not having to do anything weird for once in our lives. And she was just so rude, and I don't know, maybe she had something going on that day. I don't know, I just thought it was strange. This episode, if the executive producer hadn't been so far up Hef's butt, I would think that this episode, they were like making a point of showcasing like Hef's one-liners and how everybody had to like be ready to laugh at them. Because Bridget is talking to Hef when she's doing the Extra interview and he says like a one-liner back to her and it focuses in on George, whose face is just kind of like, and they do the dun-dun-dun sound effect. It seems to be like a running theme through this episode. I have a hard time believing it was a purposeful running theme just because, like I said, the executive producer was so far up Hef's butt, but I don't know, seems like it. So now we're going to the Playboy store in the Palms to do a calendar signing, and it's interesting because they don't cover us doing the calendar. I guess the first calendar wasn't covered on the show because I know there's a calendar episode in season 3. That must have been the second calendar we did. But it's kind of interesting that the calendar just must have been shot during a time of year where we weren't filming, because that was a big deal to us, like to have our own calendar back in the days when people still bought calendars. It was a big deal. To me anyway, I felt like it was a big deal. It also shows our bobblehead dolls, and I love those things. I thought they were so cute. The executive producer did not like the bobbleheads because he was very butthurt that he wasn't involved in like any of the Girls Next Door merchandise. And because he was like a collector, he was like a fanboy. He was super big into like 60s TV shows like the Munsters and things like that. And he was a collector, and he was butthurt that he wasn't involved in any of the things. I thought the bobbleheads were really cute. Later on, when I did a spin-off, he gave me a bobblehead of me, and I didn't like it. I thought it looked very like masculine in the face. I didn't think it looked like me. It wasn't cute like the Girls Next Door bobbleheads, but he just had a chip on his shoulder. He hated the bobbleheads. He hated any of the merchandise because he wasn't involved in it. God forbid we be involved with designing our bobbleheads and not him. And the only reason we were involved is I think the guy who made the Playboy bobbleheads like connected with me on MySpace at the time. And I was like, oh, we should do Girls Next Door bobbleheads. That would be fun. So I kind of like intercepted that way and got Bridget and Kendra involved so we could like approve what our bobbleheads were wearing and what the box would look like and stuff like that. Because God knows nobody from any of the, places surrounding us would have like picked us and said, oh, you guys, do you want to design your own bobbleheads? No. Sometimes I look back on this time and I think, I wonder what things would have been like if we would have been allowed to like have fun, or if social media would have been a thing back then. Like, it would have been wild. Oh no, they're doing the thing to Bridget again where it shows me finding these caramels on the bar, and I'm like, caramels, and then it goes doo-doo-doo-doo, and it focuses in on Bridget and she goes, caramels, those sound good. And I know she hated that because it always made her look like she was like super into food or like more than anybody else, and it wasn't really the case. Nothing wrong with being into food. But you know what they were going for. Whoa, it was a full moon the night they lit up the Playboy building for the first time. The only downside to being as skinny as I was is my boobs looked like balloons on me. I feel like now that I have a little bit more meat on my bones, they look a lot more natural. I know nobody tuned in to hear me talk about my own body, but it's what pops into my head. It shows us standing up there and it's windy, and I go, it was so windy. Kendra looked like a sheepdog. And I didn't mean that in a mean way. Like, I would always joke about myself when I was at the salon, like he'd blow my hair, Laurent would blow my hair like this, and I would be like, I am a sheepdog. I just thought it was funny. We all look like sheepdogs some days. I love a sheepdog. My roots on my hair are like the Grand Canyon chasm of the deep, but my hairdresser has me on restriction because my old hairdresser kind of like disappeared. And over the past year, I've seen probably like 5 different hairdressers, and my hairdresser I finally settled on is like, your hair's breaking off. Like, we need to be really careful with it. You have to wait 6 weeks in between highlight sessions until your hair starts growing back. So I'm currently on restriction. I should just do the Kardashian thing and just start wearing wigs. The Pawn Stars guy has a game. Commercials are on because I'm that cheap. So we're at the Playboy Club opening, and this was the night that, the dealer was so pretty. The woman who was the dealer while Hef and Christy were sitting there, like, I thought she should have been a playmate. I don't know why she wasn't. I think she didn't want to pose or something, but she was so pretty. This was the night when Paris Hilton was hanging out with Britney Spears, and they both had bunny ears. I don't know if you've ever seen that picture. Okay, I'm sorry. This is like the cattiest episode ever, but somebody was saying in her interview, like, I know there's been a lot of Playboy Clubs, but this one opening is the best one because I'm here. And I would think she was joking saying that, but she would say that a lot about a lot of things, like be late to things and then walk in and be like, okay, the party can get started. I'm here. And I don't know, maybe she was joking the whole time, but it got to the point when you're around that a lot, the vibe starts to feel like she thinks that's real and that's serious. And it was one of those things where you're just kind of sitting there like, and I think we all got along great during this particular time period. I'm just seeing a lot of things that are making me like catty right now in this episode because I'm like remembering stuff. But we were good in the moment, And then I'm looking for some of the women we met at the Playboy Bunny search. I run into Angela. Oh, Allison Waite was there. I love her. Yeah, this was definitely a time period where there were just a lot of amazing playmates around. And I just really wanted to like have girlfriends, like friends, and hang out and stuff. And I feel like that was kind of like the first seed of me like finally wanting to leave. Like during this time period, I wasn't thinking, oh damn, I need to get out of here right now. But that was the first kind of feeling I was getting, like maybe things would be better outside, because I just always wanted to hang out with the girls and have fun, and I wasn't really allowed to. Oh my God, Stacy Burke was there. So I'm giving a tour to people and I lost everybody in the pool. And I'm like, I lost everybody. I'm sad and alone from the balcony. And Stacy comes up just like butt naked, like, Holly, we're down here. I forgot she was there. I love Stacy. They're giving me some weird things to say in interviews. Like for the first 2 seasons, they've built me up as being like really possessive. Like I want Hef all to myself. I don't want anybody else here. And then in this interview, they have me saying, I don't mind sharing Hef with the world. I like having everybody around, which kind of does mirror the fact that like there were so many, like I said, great people around that I really wanted to hang out with. But it's just odd that they had me say that after building up. I don't know. Okay, so this is the season 2 finale. So they're having us do the wrap up. So I guess that was my wrap up, that suddenly after 2 seasons of being the jealous, possessive, resting bitch face eye roller, finally I don't mind sharing Hef with the world. And then they're having Bridget say something. I haven't heard it yet. Bridget just says something about like there's all these new opportunities, blah, blah, blah. Which is an evolution from season 1 where she was like, oh my God, I got to be in the magazine. Now what's next? What's my next dream since I achieved that dream? So that's a logical progression. Mine was not a logical progression. I don't know what they were going for. Kendra and Stacy and Amber are in the tub and they're doing the crazy girls pose. What is the crazy girls pose, you might ask? Well, there used to be this topless show in Vegas called Crazy Girls. And there was these famous billboards and a bronze statue of it at the Riviera. And it was all these women like lined up. It was them from the back and they all had their hands on each other's butts and they're doing that pose. And it was just iconic because the picture for the poster was probably taken in 1987. Like it's all these women standing there in black G-strings with Motley Crue hair. And the poster never changed. It was just something every time you went to Vegas, you saw Crazy Girls. And it was just this photo they took in 1987. But here we are 20 years after that, and it's still the same poster. So it was just like this iconic kind of joke thing. Okay, it just occurred to me that if that picture was taken in 1987 and we're here in like 2006, that's like 19, basically 20 years later. We're getting pretty close to 20 years after that, okay? Yeah, feeling old right now. Like the amount of time that passed between the 1987 Crazy Girls picture and us in 2006, that's almost been equaled between the time of us in 2006 and us now, almost. And that's crazy. Because I remember like in 2006 thinking like 1987 was a millennia ago and so ancient. I'm trying to think of what the equivalent would be. Like if the Crazy Girls picture had been taken in 2005 and it was still up and it looked really dated to our eyes, what would it look like? I think it would be a bunch of spray tanned women with tramp stamp tattoos and like barrel curled, not brushed out hair. And some of them would have had like the stringy blonde spaghetti extensions. Yeah. Okay, so takeaways. Best part of that episode, I think, is just seeing like all the people we were surrounded by and how it was kind of, when I look back at that era in my life, this was kind of like a good section of it. Like things were pretty good. There were a lot of fun people around. There were opportunities happening for us. And my negative takeaway is just seeing this and also seeing like how much, just imagining how much more fun we could have had. Like if I would have been actually allowed to like hang out with other people whenever I wanted and do whatever and take initiative and take other opportunities that came along. Like, it could have been so much bigger and better. We were really limited and in a box. But overall, I really like this episode. I think it's a really interesting time capsule, just in like Las Vegas history. Like, I love Las Vegas and I love Vegas history. And this was such a well-documented time capsule of when like the Playboy Club opened at the Palms and kind of what Vegas was like. And I really love that. So I like this episode. And when I come back, we will be on season 3. And I was looking ahead to see like what the season 3 episodes were, just like a list of the episodes, because I forget. And like the next month of like reactions, I'm gonna be into, because like the first 4 episodes are like my jam. It's like my birthday, Christmas, when I first go to work at the studio, like it's stuff that I love. So I'm excited to watch those. And I will see you guys next time. Let me know what kind of other videos you want to see in the comments, like besides reaction videos, because I'm always looking for new ideas. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.